welcome. My name is Aaron Craig with Beyond Us Games, and in this video we're going to be talking about the kind of theory behind video game AI. We're not going to dive into any code just yet, that'll be coming in the future, but I want to give us some definitions and talk about a couple of blanket statements that I think are important so that we are on the same page and that you have a good idea about what AI in video games is, because it's actually a lot different than AI in pretty much every other field out there. So for the purpose of this video and most of what we'll be discussing in future videos, let's define video game artificial intelligence. So the AI systems in video games are anything that is not controlled specifically by the player and not a static object like a rock in the background. It doesn't move and it has no logic behind it. This definition then includes NPCs, which pretty much anything which isn't a player, but NPCs like you interact with for store buyers, you have enemies, signposts that give directions. This also includes special effects, cutscenes, weather, and more. AI is any system that is controlled by the computer to get something done, which is how we're going to define it. With that out of the way, let's dive in with two statements that I'll flesh out as we go on. The first is the goal of any good AI is to enable the player to enjoy playing the game. Second, good AI requires dumbing down the machine. So, playing most video games is about having a good time. There are some exceptions, but overall, when a player sits down to play a game, they want to have fun, feel like they accomplished something, or maybe be emotionally moved by the story. The AI is there to facilitate that in many different ways, such as keeping the game balanced, ensuring that allies don't act like idiots by running into walls, and making smart decisions when to initiate events. If you're playing an RPG with an ally, an NPC, you don't want that ally to do anything dumb or not obey what you tell them to do. If they always ran headfirst into battle when you're attempting to work out a strategy, that would become frustrating to the player. In another game, an NPC should have a smart pathing system to get out of the player's way when they're walking instead of causing a blockage that impedes the player. These systems are video game AI at work, code that the programmer set in place so that the game would feel alive and help the player to have fun. Sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. Now, good AI must also be stupid compared to what it could actually accomplish. Imagine for a second that you're playing an FPS, a first-person shooter, against a computer-controlled enemies. If they were reacting as fast as they could, using all the knowledge at their hands, you would never kill any of them. They are the computer. They'll know where the player is at the millisecond the player leaves cover and the exact path of every bullet that flies from the gun. With all of that information and reaction times faster than any human, the game wouldn't be fun and nobody would be playing it for long. To counter this, the AI in games must be given limitations on what they know and how fast they can react. Dark Souls is a great example of this. The enemies aren't stupid, but neither are they godlike. They have readable and intuitive attacks, limitations on their speed and strength that is set and readable by the player. And even if you don't enjoy the game, you must admit the AI is clever, but it's not so smart that it can't be overcome by those who put the time and effort into it. With these facts in mind, that good AI is there to help the player have fun, and that it must be dumbed down, we're going to begin making some practical AI systems inside of GameMaker Studio 2. It's going to start out simple and will get more complex as it goes along. You'll be able to follow along in GameMaker Studio 1 and 2. The code that we're going to be using, the systems that we are going to be creating, are going to be things that you can apply logically, and then you can use to actually create code and you can follow along, and where there are differences among those programs, I will point those out. So I hope you'll join me. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we will all learn a lot. Thank you for joining me this video, and as always, have fun making great games, and I'll talk to you later. If you'd like to support me more than just liking and subscribing to my channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon, like all of the awesome people on the screen right now. They get to vote on upcoming tutorials and get one-on-one training sessions with me each month. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you later.